Hello everyone, my name is Ryan and this is Gabriella, here's Tomas, and over here Goli. Today we're going to talk about behavior management apps, and Gabriella's going to start talking about Class Dojo.
Class Dojo is a great tool because it lets us share with parents the things that are going on in the classroom. For example, behavior, effort, etc. And we can easily, if we have the parents list on our app, we can indicate to them, when there is any problems, or especially when there are positive things happening. If a student who normally doesn't participate in class is participating, we just send, with a click, we send it to the parents, and they can be part of our classroom as well. And it really helps to keep kids on track and to make them also feel ownership of what they are doing in class, and to feel proud of their accomplishments. So also it helps creating student portfolios, so they can create their own, and share their own successes in class, which is a wonderful tool, I think. I think we could use it, especially with the younger students. I see myself using it with the middle school students, for example.
Yeah, I think it's a great tool to track students' effort, because in ICS we have to give a student an effort grade based on their commitment and learning, self-management, is prepared to class. And traditionally this semester we'll be using this traditional form that the students actually have to fill out. And this is actually a bit of a hassle, because every day you have to give it to the student, they have to self-assess themselves, and then give it back to you. But here it's only one click, You see that the student is participating, that is being persistent, that he's on task, working with others. You click on that, and the student will see that, and that will encourage his or her motivation to participate in class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that it helps monitor students' growth. But then one thing we need to be aware should be we need to present this tool to parents at the beginning of the year, especially during back to school night, because it makes use of avatars or graphics to send out instant message to parents. So at times, parents, there was a case here, I think if I'm not mistaken, where parents were receiving emojis when their child wasn't behaving very well, and it might be how do you say that? Frustrating to certain parents to receive only negative feedbacks.
Yeah.
So the teacher should clearly explain the purpose of this tool.
Sure,
it's just in order to help students, but not to punish them. So if we present it in that sense, it could be a great tool to make use of.
Yeah, I'd go a step further. Some parents are just not going to want to be interrupted during the day, and so giving them that option to control whether they get notifications. And Dojo is great. Probably like the middle school is probably as old as I can see in one of my classrooms. And when you have such a large classroom, that disconnect of constantly inputting data kind of takes away from maybe the lesson and maybe more complex objectives that you might try to.
Yeah, it might be distracting for the kids and for the teacher, because if you're engaged in something and then you have to go and click and find the page or find the app, it might take a few minutes away from what you're doing right now. So it's something that you can use, but probably not all the time, not every class maybe. Another disadvantage would be the fact that everybody can see the points that the kids are getting. It's like a public information.
Yes.
And for some kids who are sensitive or shy or not doing really well, this might be disencouraging. So we have to be careful with that.
It's always good to push competition, but always to a certain limit, because you are making a very good point. Some students might feel down. If they feel like, oh, look at that one, he's doing so great, and look at me, I'm at the very bottom.
Yeah. You need to be cautious.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone. So now let's hear from Tomas about Teach a Kid.
Yeah, so this is an app that is a great app for taking attendance. It's called Teach Kid. So what I like about this app is that I can take attendance with my phone. Why? Because usually when I take attendance, I'm sitting my desk and then I'm calling a student one-on-one. But here I can have a student doing a warm-up activity, anything, and I'm moving around, monitoring them, and checking present, this person is here, excellent. Then also it's a great tool to track behavior. So I click on the student, and I give positive feedback and negative feedback. So on positive, I can say, yeah, he's generally well behaved, he's making good progress, he's doing his homework, he's on time, he's also participating. But at the same time, I can click on negative and say, oh, he's being chatty, oh, he's picking a fight. So all this is recorded. And what I really like about it is that I can be moving around the classroom and then clicking on them. I don't have to be sitting stationary on my desk keeping track of everything. And also, in fact, as you know, every Friday on high school we have to do the student do assembly, and I find very difficult to take attendance with the computer. So with this, I can just go clean, present, boom, ready to go.
Yeah. It's
Cool.
easy.
Yeah, I think one of the probably disadvantages is most schools are moving towards their own management systems, and this wouldn't integrate directly. But I can see a real benefit on a field trip, for example, where we're off timetable, and you want to on the fly record a lot of information. Those are really important learning experiences, and we often don't. We're kind of overwhelmed, so we don't get that opportunity to track behavior and that sort of thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Nice. Okay, so Instant Classroom has three purposes. It can allow you to create your classroom seating arrangements. It can allow you also to create and generate groups when you work on group activities. And the third thing that it could allow you is also to generate names randomly. So you could create for all your classes, you could enter them on Instant Classroom. And whenever you have an activity that requires a group work, you make use of Instant Classroom. It creates the groups, so nobody, students would have the groups assigned by the computer itself, so which was a good thing. Yeah, for the seating chart, you could also embed the pictures of your students. And from the previous activities that we've seen, if you want for certain activities, you could also switch the seating arrangements and have that data entered also within Instant Classroom. Yeah, that's it. Mostly.
I took a close look at Too Noisy. It's an app that you can sort of project on a board, and it's just basically a noise meter, like you might see in a game show. So that was sort of the first thought about how to use it in the classroom. Is quite often we might just want to get a lot of energy, get the kids involved, and do a vote by clapping or making noise. You see that a lot in assemblies for younger kids. Just for fun, having a visual for that visual sense of sound. As a classroom management tool, fantastic. Quite often when you're differentiating, you have people at different tasks. Some might be reading, some might be writing, some might be having sort of small discussions. With the noise tracker, we can really sort of have a lot of that mutual respect and some external, unbiased moderator of what kind of noise levels we have in our classroom.
Yeah, because I think sometimes students are not aware of how noisy they are. And even like, if you have a small classroom, you have 3-4 students talking at the same time, that becomes loud. So that's an excellent tool for them to be aware.
Yeah, especially in language classes where at certain points all kids are talking at the same time. When we have discussions, etc., in small groups, it can, if they're not controlling their level of noise, it can really get distracted for others. So that's a good one.
And Gabby, you're going to talk about Smart Seat.
Yeah, Smart Seats is an app that allows you to create seating charts. It has grids, and you can randomly, if you include the names of your students, even the pictures, it can create a seating arrangement for your students, and also it has a function for attendance, and choose students for groups. When you're creating groups for different activities, you can quickly create different groups. I think this is more useful for big groups of students. In our case, we don't have such big groups. Like the maximum that we have in the languages is 16.
Yeah.
You could still, in the big classes, you could use it, but yeah, you can also. It doesn't allow you to distribute boys and girls equally, so it's totally random, which can be negative if in a group there are differences in that.
Yeah, I think that's a great tool because students they like to sit with a friend, and because they feel comfortable with them, but that is not necessarily his best partner, his best working partner. So if you make them randomly see with other people, I think the engagement can even increase. You know, they might you take them out of their comfort zone, and they might discover, oh wow, it works so great with this person, and I had no idea about it. So it's always good to try new things and change the dynamic.
And when there is a tool that it's not the teacher who seats them in a certain place, they might accept it. If not, they're constantly trying to negotiate who they can seat with.
Yeah, that's one also advantage of the instant classroom.
Yeah, I definitely see that advantage of the unbiased using these tools. And then just as a final comment, the disconnect might be a negative for all of these apps, that we're losing a little bit of that personal touch with our students.
Right.
All right,
Thank you, guys.